What's going on, y'all? Welcome back. Another episode of Speaksnsip. The Aaron Elijah here. I got a question, right? My question real quick is personal training actually worth it? We gonna find out. I got Philosopher and O in the building.
Hold on, can I introduce myself?
My fault. Okay, go ahead.
This is the Mr. Majestic, melanated, mocha face.
Yo, stop. I can't listen to this. I can't
What are
listen
you
to this the
talking
whole
about?
episode.
Run that back one more time.
The majestic, melanated, mocha face, sophisticated trainer.
Ooh, okay.
How long you sat in the mirror thinking about that?
I didn't think in the mirror. Things come naturally to me.
That's not true because you repeated it. It's okay. Anyway,
And we got O back in the building.
yeah, like bro, this regular Orlando.
Yeah, regular. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Regular Orlando. Get out of here.
Before we dive into this, is personal training of value?
Absolutely.
I would agree with him. Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so once again, just keeping it in a simple tense for right now. Why does it matter? I guess.
Not everybody knows everything.
Okay. Well, the simplest form. What would you say?
That's good. And you're right. Not everybody knows everything, and it could provide value as far as like getting to know those things that you need to know and how to really move about in a facility, a gym.
Okay. I think, to be honest, I agree with both of those statements. I think it's just like every environment is an environment. So you want to know, you want to be in that room where you can learn, you know? So like if I'm in a space where I know like this does something for me, I want to learn from it. Like what the fuck? Like I'm not just here to waste the space. So I think when it comes down to this, I think there's big misconceptions when, dealing with trainers, like I could say like a big three is like, oh, like the trainers just count the numbers. Like they're just counting our sets or our reps.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or oh, like they very like minuscule things where they don't see beyond that. So like, let me dive into that one first. So like, it's just a matter of counting the steps and the reps or whatever the case is, right? The way I see it is in a larger scale is really like, I'm kind of like holding you accountable. I'm doing it for you. You paid me to hold you accountable. So if you want to call it counting reps, yeah, I am counting reps. But along the way of me counting reps is the reps every day, whether you see me 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week, right? Becomes routine, right? So it builds structure, right? So I'm giving you value because at the end of the day, this is something that you could take with you and go into any other realm.
Right.
To kind of learn, you know what I'm saying? Follow that same routine.
And in the midst of me counting your reps or your sets or whatever, I'm also fixing your form, telling you how to move this way and how it affects this body part, what isolation move that we're working on. I'm giving you tidbits that you could also, it basically, you paid for the game. So now you can take that game and give it to somebody else.
Yeah. Good.
Go ahead.
I think another one, I'm about to go into another. So another one I think is like, they say it's like only for beginners, Like they're like, oh, you get a trainer if you're a beginner.
Yeah.
Like that's another like misconception where people feel as if you don't know anything, then you get a trainer. So yes, but there's two truths. So yes, if you are a beginner, you can get a trainer and you will get a lot of help, like you will receive a lot of structure from that. But in the same sense, like also if you're intermediate, whatever fucking level, advanced, whatever level you want to call yourself, look at the people that's at the top of the top. Look at the people that's competing. They have trainers.
Right.
They're someone.
Team.
Yeah,
a team of trainers.
Giving them a regimen, telling them you eat, sleep, and shit when I say so.
Right.
Do this and do
You know
that.
what I'm saying? Do this and do that, and they must follow protocol. So like I think that's a big one where it's like, oh, like it's the starting steps on getting in the gym, and that's something we discussed before. And I think the third I would say is probably like the matter of like, oh, it's too expensive. Like, oh, getting a trainer, it costs like, think about like when we go through like something else we discussed, when we go through like the assessment and stuff like that, and we break down all of this, we find out everything cool, and then we lay down like the price now.
Right.
The price point of like, okay, this is the breakdown. I can see you X amount of times a week based on what you say you want to work on, right? And that's tangible and makes sense for you with your schedule, your work schedule, whatever you have going on outside of this, right? And then like they see the number and they're like, oh my God. You know, and it's like, okay, well, in reality, the way I look at things is like, okay, look at this number and let me compare it to something that you already pay.
Yeah. So, and to touch on what you said before, as far as like people don't understand like how personal training is, yeah, and you guys could attest to this. There's a lot of thoughtfulness that goes into one of the biggest things is once people sign up, now you have to get them results.
Yes.
Getting results requires you to program every person differently. Like if I'm training both of y'all, your program is different from his.
Right.
I'm not going to sit there and give you the same program as this person. So someone might want to gain muscle. Someone might want to burn fat. Now, sitting down, writing out these programs after you've done the assessment, it takes some hours. Sometimes it might take a day or two just to create a program for somebody.
So,
but
let's mark that as like one of the first key points. So the value, right? Because the whole thing is about the value, right? Does it give value? Basically, is the personal training worth any value, right? So I think the first key point that we can mention is something what you just said. So that first value would be the fact that we are tailoring a structure, a regimen,
to fit your needs,
to fit you.
Yeah,
not a generic program that anybody could get for like $30 or $20, whatever.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that is a thing as well. But something tailored to you that's going to work for you. And understand that comes after the, once again, not to go back to this, but that goes after the assessment, after we understand what's going on. So like one reference that I always give when it comes to the assessment, because I know a lot of times we get like, I guess that might not be the right phrase, but pushback per se, where it's like they're not understanding the process of an assessment. So now, if you think about it, if you go anywhere else, one of my biggest analogies is like when you go to the doctor, right? They give you assessment, a checkup. What the fuck do you think a checkup is?
Yep.
That's an assessment. Yeah, you gotta understand. They're doing an assessment because therefore they can dictate and diagnose you with whatever the fuck they want to tell you. You get what I'm saying? If you say you sick and you need meds, they got to do an assessment to give you whatever appropriate meds. You get what I'm saying? So it's like one of those things where that's how they let you know if you like have high blood pressure, if the diabetes, you get what I'm saying, cholesterol levels, you get what I'm saying, sodium intake, all of this stuff you get from these people. So we give it to you in the aspect of your physicality, right? We give it to you in the aspect of like where you are on a scale of your ability to the functional, right? Push, pull, hip, like all of your movements that you should be doing at any age, really. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at it, it's like, okay, if we are giving you a certain amount of exercises that we really just want to test and see what you're doing, we're not trying to give you heavy weight, right? We want to see where you lie on a scale in reference to what you need work on. So if you can only push 15 pounds, right? But you're this age, you're 28 or whatever, 29. I'm concerned. You know what I'm saying? I look at it in two ways. You either have not pushed yourself and you're someone that really has never been into the gym, right? Or there must be a reason behind that, whether it's an injury, whatever the case is, where, you know what I'm saying? Something had to happen, but that doesn't make sense for where you are. The same thing and to go into like, what is it? What you said off cam, metabolic age. Right. So that's another thing that applies. Like, okay, cool. Like a lot of us do stuff outside where we party, we drink, we smoke, whatever the case is. When we get into that gym, when we get on certain scales that tell us these metrics, right? You get a metric that tells us, I'll use me for a reference. I forget what the fuck the number was, but I weighed myself. Yeah. I don't even know if it's that. He
42 to be exact.
He might have upped it a couple, but right.
Yeah,
so
that sounds about right.
You know what I'm saying? So Kev, so Kev went on scale. Yeah, he definitely upped it. I got on the scale and Kev gave me the metrics or whatever the case is, and my metabolic age told me 42. So just so you guys, in case you guys aren't aware of what that is, the metabolic age is it's telling you your age from the inside out. So it's literally telling you like how your body is functioning, and really it should be something that will always be alarming to you. If that number is above your current age, that's no good. That's straight up how I see it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's
or
how
twice your age at that point.
You know what I'm saying? That's just not okay under no regards. So, and I know this is a story I told, but literally start busting out cardio, all of that. I was getting it in. That shit dropped real quick. I was not having it.
Yeah.
I was not having it. So going back to the first point of value, I think that tailoring that program is definitely a big one. What would you guys say would be another key point for value in reference to training.
To touch up on what you were saying too, as far as like watching the form after the programming. Now it's even your job even more to make sure that person that you in front of with watching a form get the results. And there's a few questions I would ask, like even a lot of people that I train or people that I don't even train. You know, what if you really lock in and follow the diet? Mm-hmm. What if you really locked in and invest in yourself and say, I'm gonna take this personal training seriously? What if you did everything, and you could attest to this, What if you as a trainee did everything that your trainer told you to do? Like literally follow it to a T. We could only imagine how some of them would look. Not even, a matter of fact, most of them will look. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But a lot of them don't do that. Like you were saying, their metabolic age is like 15, 20 years older than they are. Yeah. So now it becomes frustrating because when you think about it, someone who says 25 and their bodies function like someone who's 35. So Brett is really saying is your insides, you're not really that great in shape. Now you have to get in shape. And that whole process can be frustrating because at the same time, you find whether it's that peer pressure from friends or families that's not doing the same thing that you're doing. Now you find the pressure of actually going to the gym and getting results. You understand what I'm saying? So it comes down to now it's just like, do I really want to do this? Is this something that I want to do? Now you're starting to fight a battle within. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Now the battle starts to come within because number one, you let all those things influence you. Now the price is coming. You're tired. You've been out partying. You're not taking it seriously. You understand what I'm saying? So I tell people like follow 80-20 diet. And we know about this. A lot of them don't even do that. There's more like 20-80, 20% good, 80%
which is
fucked
crazy.
up.
Yeah, which is crazy.
And then so how do you expect to function in the gym?
To any degree, yeah.
Like at your maximum capacity. Not even maximum.
Not yet, to any degree, yeah.
It's almost impossible because you're running off of nothing.
Anything they start to do, they feel defeated because they realize like, damn, like I don't really have the endurance or the strength or whatever the case may be. Like, and my fault, I just remember too, like, so let's veer off, but we're going to come full circle back real quick. So actually, last time we were all sitting together, we actually discussed, I'll give the credit to O broke down the whole thing about the pyramid of the food and what we eat, et cetera, so forth. Yeah. Like that. That's something that's huge, right? That people, you can look that up yourselves if you're just not fully 100% sure as per the person in the comment. But, but you know what I'm saying?
Couple of comments.
Yeah. But, another thing to touch on to tie into what you said as well, where my curiosity lies into where when it comes to the percentage and the rate of like obesity and things of that nature, what like I'm probably gonna look it up, but like a statistic of the breakdown of how it is for like how it is in the Western hemisphere, but in all cultures. You get what I'm saying? So I know that's something that we also discussed before, right? So let me make sure I get the facts straight. Hold on.
So basically, Western Hemisphere versus the Eastern, which would be us, and then or Western us and versus the Eastern Hemisphere, versus different nationalities.
So right, remember that's something you touched on. So remember, if I'm correct, the percentage was, let's say this, between 70 and 80% percentage of obesity.
Yeah.
Right? So
just in the US alone.
In the US alone, that is a very, very high rate. Like 1 second, yeah, like that's almost insane. Give me any country though.
Let's go to UK.
Right? So right. Bruv, right? Okay. So if we going based off, right? So 28, and this is like the health survey for England, and this is updated up to 22, right? So 28.9% of adults, which is 18 and over, right, are obese. Now, when you compare,
that's crazy.
Kev.
That's crazy. But you know why, though?
Why is that?
Explain.
Across the pond, as they call it.
Yeah.
They don't have preservatives in their food. They don't have the same artificial flavoring. All of the stuff that we intake at a high rate, the sodium, even their fast food is different.
That's a fact.
Even the fast food is different.
Fast food is cleaner than ours for sure.
Like for anybody that like goes overseas, the food always tastes different, and people always like, I I know, like, when I go to Europe, especially,
Yep.
I don't like the food, but it's because they cook it with nothing in it.
Without the preservatives.
We have, guys, just take a look on the bag sometimes. Like there's like a column of like 50 things.
Yeah.
And this shit is crazy. Like nothing we eat should have that much.
Like nobody goes
Real
to
shit.
nobody goes to the grocery store and reads the nutrition facts.
Like
You like what you like, you pick it up, and then
you
that's
go.
it. But you don't go and read the nutrition facts. And what's crazy is you got the nutrition facts, it's got its own category, right? But then underneath it is all of the preservatives and additives that are added into the food that people don't read. So you got all kinds of extracts, all kinds of cellulose and glucose and this is that and the third to make the food taste the way that it tastes. But then when you go overseas, so Europe we use as an example, their food doesn't taste like that because they don't have all of that stuff built into their food, nor do they cook with those things. So they're obviously going to be at a lower rate because this is something that is born in country. It's just real food.
Yeah. It's go ahead, sir.
No, go.
It's alarming because like when you it's not an attack on anybody or any race or anything like that, but there's some things that need to be addressed.
Yeah.
You know, like
That's a
when we
fact.
talk about the obesity rate as far as like by race, whether it's women, men. So according to the CDC, non-Hispanic Asian adults were 17.4% compared to non-Hispanic white, 42%. Non-Hispanic black is 49.6%. That means over about 50% of
half.
the non-black, non-Hispanic black women were almost 50% obese in the United States of America.
That's
right.
wicked.
And then Hispanic was 44.8% of the adults. So non-Hispanic black adults had the highest prevalence of obesity compared with all other races and Hispanic origin. So if you take, let's say, for instance, the non-Hispanic 17.4%. So that goes to show you, like you were saying, how much people value the diet. Now, when you look at other things, like let's say, for instance, as a, if I'm correct, as a spending nation, I think African Americans account for it would be like the 26th richest nation. You understand what I'm saying? So if that's the case, and we're supposed to be the 26th richest nation, just if we pooled our money together now.
Yeah.
Right.
Why is it that, like, even you could take personal training or the obesity rate? Why is the obesity rate so high? If the obesity rate is high, then it should be one of those things where health should be a thing that's talked about and a thing that's
all
done
times.
at all times. That's the thing that's done as far as, like, you know, whether people like to do whatever they want to do with their money. I won't tell no one to do with their money, but it gets to a point where it's like, and I share a story with you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna share this story. So I was training this lady, you know, and she comes in the studio I used to be at. So when she comes in there, you know, we talking. So I see the bag. I don't even know what bag is it, but it had the snakes on it. Right? So my first thing come in mind, like, why would she bring a bag like that? Because she must got the bag if she bring the bag. So I'm giving the best, like, take your time, breathe, here's some water, I'll put some ice in it, I'll mix that motherfucker for you.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I'm seeing the bag. I'm like, okay, she's serious. Because most people that's coming to a private studio, they're going to spend. So I gave her the breakdown, everything like that. And then when I gave her the breakdown, now remember, our prices, in my opinion, compared to like Manhattan or something, they're not really that expensive. Not at all. When you think about it, like when you really think about it, it's not expensive at all. It's probably like $3 a day, something like that.
And I'm gonna break down some stats too, based on what you're saying.
So it was one of those things when I showed her the prices. So I asked her how much times a week you going to work. She said, "Nah, that's too expensive. I can't afford that." She said, "Can you do a payment plan?" So and then I looked at her and I looked at the bag. First thing that came to my mind was, so do you have it wrong?
Maybe the bag's on
the bag should be gone at this point.
Like,
pawn the bag and get yourself in shape, because you will last longer.
Come on now, Kev. You tell somebody that
pawn the bag is crazy.
They not doing
sell it. What do you think the bag? The bag is the bag. People think if they have the bag gonna make them look good. You know what I'm saying? Like they be putting it on there and they be like, take a picture of me right here like this. And I'm like, wait a minute, but you not in shape.
Yeah.
The status
is what.
Yeah.
That's what that's
But that's for some ethnicities, and it goes to show according to this. And then you got some other people, they don't care about how they look, but they in tip-top shape. Yeah. So they last longer, they might live longer, things like that. You know, so
Let me break down these stats. Hold on. Look at this. This is it. Yo. Okay. So based on what you're saying, right? The idea of like, oh, can we do a payment plan? So basically really what these people tell us is like, oh, this is like too expensive. Like this costs a lot, right? So stats on the perception of personal training being expensive. Just the perception of it. Like they don't really understand the breakdown, right? So, right, check this out, right? 61% of Americans say the cost is the number one reason that they don't even hire a personal trainer. Is the reason they don't even get into training. 61%, right? So check that, right? So now, in person, that on average, in-person training is like anywhere from $50 to $125.
Per session.
Correct. Per
Okay.
hour, yeah, per session, right?
Okay.
So, right? And then virtual training is probably like 30 to 70, right? 30 to 70, right? So now, people who go to the gym, only 30% believe that a trainer is worth the money.
So out of the
Yeah.
what 39% left?
Right? The difference.
Yeah,
So
30%.
we already at 100% for real. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's everybody. It's
Yeah.
all doubt. That's all I'm hearing. All doubt, right? So now, and keep in mind, this is 30% of people that go to the gym and they've had improved guidance. And they still is saying it's not worth it, right? Okay, right? So now I love analogies because it makes it realistic for people to understand, right? So when you look at things, right, the average US adult spends $314 a month on dining out and takeout. Only 6% of that goes towards health or fitness related expenses. That is ridiculous. Now, keep in mind, that's based on the Bureau of Labor Statistics, like, and that's updated from 23.
6% of that is like $20-something.
So
That's crazy.
let's stop right there for a
That's
second.
like $20-something.
So let's stop right there, right? So like when you look at that, and we know, especially in New York City, it's so many activities to do and this, that, and the third or whatever. People
Right.
go out and spend money all the time. So in reality, in New York City, that might be like closer to 500.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when you think about it,
Right.
we spending all of that, but people don't understand the quality of just investing into the training. But
you also you gotta
listening, go.
play devil's advocate in that.
Give me the other term.
So there's a reason why people think that personal training is too expensive. There's a reason why people haven't seen in the past, because now it's starting to become more apparent. You see more people trying new things, new programs are coming out, things like that. So more people are getting into it at their own pace.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why, and it goes back to what I said on one of the previous shows that we did, is the used car salesman effect. Because people have a bad connotation when they go to the car lot. Off bat. Fuck, I gotta go buy a new car.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody says, yay, I'm ready to go buy a new car. So it's the same thing when it comes to personal training. When people need something, they don't want to do it. When it's something that you absolutely have to have, or you should have, that's not have to, but you should have, people don't want to do it. They don't want to spend the money. They look for a loophole. They look for some way around
To get,
doing
I would
that.
agree with that.
Correct,
You're right.
yeah.
So
I would
personal
definitely-
training is the same thing, and it goes with a lack of education, you know, in this period.
You hit the nail on the motherfucking head, yo.
Yeah, man, I'm not a philosopher or nothing, but you know, I know some stuff.
I'm saying,
But
he's not even philosopher today. He mocha melanin.
What did you call it? Magnetic? Magneto?
Magnetic.
Mr. Magnesium
Energetic,
melanin.
magnetic,
Yeah.
poetic, with
Yo.
good credit.
No.
Yo.
But like you were saying, education-wise, you're right. Because education-wise, like just from personal experience and even talking to other trainers and asking them, I'll ask trainers questions that like, and I'm hoping, I talk to them because I'm like, you should be wondering this stuff too, because now it'll let you know.
You would think.
It'll let you know who's your people that you would like more likely to train with you. What's their salary range?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? What's their age? What's the time frame they normally would stay for? Then you can know, okay, am I providing value? Because if you're providing value, those people that making, let's say, medium income are gonna are gonna stay
So
because now they see the benefit of the training.
So now that's another key point right there. So we the first was I'm forgetting already. The first was the tailoring, right? Tailoring, right? The second technically is the education.
Yes.
The education behind it. So like when you invest into a trainer, we are making you aware of everything that you don't know. If we even name a muscle in your body, they don't know what the fuck it is. Where is that? What are you talking about? Oh my God, like the bone, anything, So the exercise, even as simple as the exercise. So in reality, that's another key point where you gain a lot of value on understanding. Okay, if I do this exercise, right, this targets this muscle, and everyone doesn't have to know it down to a T. But I'm working on this muscle, and this muscle helps me with maybe 9 times out of 10, a lot of time things help you with whether your posture, over time. Even if you're doing like, let's not even do like strength training because I'm kind of being biased towards that. But let's say we talked about a shout out to Lou in the Royal Astoria with VO2 max and everything like that.
Right.
We talk about your cardiovascular for people that's for all age ranges. You get what I'm saying? When you get older, those are things that matter more. Like you're not going to be trying to bench and lift heavy anymore.
No.
You worry about your breathing.
Right.
You worry about, okay, how many times did my heart pump?
Right.
So those things matter, and you have to understand it on an educational level first.
Right.
To really know, okay, I know what I'm doing. Because also, like, at the same time, personal training, no one's saying you have to do it forever.
Right.
Like, it's not a thing where you have to, no one's saying like, okay, I have to always have a trainer with me, but gain the value that training has. When it comes down to it, So, and to what you said as well, like, absolutely, the used car salesman effect is definitely in effect. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then now, because we're on a high of like the training and stuff like that, there's a lot of people like that either don't know their shit, don't care about the shit, you get what I'm saying? Because they're just trying to make quick bucks or whatever the case is. So there's a lack of education in it. There's a lack of like programming and structure or tailoring.
Right.
So, like sometimes those values are missed.
And I think a lot of trainers don't provide that value by tailoring different workouts to fit each client. Because a lot of times it could be tiring, it could be frustrating.
Yeah.
But for someone like me, and I'm gonna touch upon 2 things. When you're paying me, it's 100% attention. Now, every now and then I might be on the phone because somebody might text me. I don't know who was texting me, so I'm gonna be on the phone. But 100%, 98% attention is paid to you. And when I was talking about like education, what you said is truthful. But a lot of the people who actually do the personal training tend to have higher education. A lot of them do because number one, they have more access to disposable income.
Yeah.
So now they understand the verbiage that's being used. But one thing that I like to do is like, and this is part 2 of it, I want to keep things so simple to the point where I know the body, I know how much bones in the body, how much muscles, I know all that shit. But now when you sit in front of me, for the used cars meal effect, there's something that I use to counteract that.
Okay.
Because I know when they see me, I can tell by your posture, body language, if you're more likely to buy. I don't know if you could buy before I even train you.
Your interest level.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then how you sit in, your hands, everything. I'm paying attention to every single thing. So one of the things that I like to use for them, they'd be like, oh, like you said, I don't want to train it forever. And I'll tell them, especially the ones that are educated, think of me like your college professor. I teach you what you need to know, and then you move on.
And exactly, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
And then
This
for
is
some
just
people,
it's a phase. It's a stepping stone.
And then,
but it's a core one. It's a very important.
And then for the people who don't have went to college, then I'm gonna say something like, I'll say something like, well, you've been around kids, do you have kids? And they're like, oh, yeah, I've been around kids. I like, okay, so right now you're my child.
Yeah.
Eventually you have to get out the house and go to college.
Analogies work. Analogies work the best. I'm telling you.
And they could understand. So one of the things is, I'm not gonna use verbiage that's going to confuse you.
Yeah.
I want to keep it to the point where it's so simple. Like I can put it to the point where it's so simple. You might not even have the money, but I broke it down so good. You like, damn, like if I don't sign up, basically what he's saying is I'm a fucking idiot. And that resonates because at this point it's like, you know what, maybe I could scoop up maybe once a week and something like that. And now when they get to once a week, now a lot of times they start to increase because now they see the true value in it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But now it's just providing that value. But the value comes with being able to explain exactly the value that you're going to bring. Like, I want to paint it in your brain. Like, this is what we're going to do. This is what it is. This is what to expect on day one. Like, And then when you get that experience, now it's just not only training.
Yeah.
Now it's the experience of, okay, let's say for instance you're a doctor. I know about stuff in doctor. Let's say you're a lawyer. I can talk about that. Let's say for instance you're in finance. I can talk about that. Now we build in a relationship, and personal training, it becomes personal. Now, not only are you getting good training, you getting good conversation. And it's like one of those things, it's like, well, this is the priority now. I need to do this.
Yes.
You're going to need that in your life.
Yes.
Right. And I'm going to make it a necessity. That's it.
So, and then, right, so like now, I guess I want to play devil's advocate too. So when you look at it too, so the value point we mentioned of like the education, right? So I think the way people look at it, and not as detailed as we're explaining, obviously, because we're the experience side.
Right.
We're the ones that are the professors and instructors and coaches and stuff like that, right? So now when you look at it on their end, they're looking at like why would I go through all of that when I could just go on social media and search this shit up?
That part.
I think that's fair, right?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And I do understand that.
That's probably the number one.
That's the biggest, especially like right now, like, so it's like, yo, like that's cool and all, but like fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like why am I like, so I'm supposed to pay you because you're telling me all of this, yada, 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 and this. And then now to really break that down, what they must understand is that even when you go look on any platform, YouTube, social media, whatever the case is, and you see people doing stuff, understand that once again, like there are so many variables that go into play. Like some of these people that you admire have trainers.
Mm-hmm.
some of these
favorite influencer has a trainer.
Your favorite influencer has a trainer. Some of these people that you admire or look at for inspiration for workouts are copying someone else's workout that you just haven't discovered yet. Another factor is you don't know how long it took them to get to where they got, and they make it look good. But when you do it, you don't feel good as if you're doing it the same way they are. Right? So the way that they learned how to do it properly is from training.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Getting trained.
It's getting trained. And just to specify, like literally. So like you have to understand, like, even though you may not be seeing it and it's not directly in your face, it happens all the time. To the audience, look at it this way, right? For those of you that go to the gym, right? How many times have you stepped in a gym and you see a lot of people with their phones placed somewhere because there's a trainer on FaceTime telling them what to do?
Yo.
How about that?
Be on the floor. Propped up against a water bottle.
Yeah, real shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's not geared towards anyone specific, but I noticed that's something that is big now.
Yeah.
You know? So like that's a huge thing where if you look at it, where it's like, okay, literally everyone in a gym, it's no longer like you have the few that may still be following just something on social media, but a lot of people are just paying someone on a virtual instance. And it's like, now, okay, here's what differentiates the two, right? You have the virtual, or you have looking at content on media and YouTube and stuff like that, right? What you're missing is correction, accountability to what we discussed earlier. So you could be doing something, you think, oh, well, they said just do this, but then you're doing it wrong. Now what happens? This.
Yeah, something
You know what I'm saying?
go wrong.
Something might go wrong. Shoulder might, oh, hold on, I just tweaked a little. My collarbone hurt now. You know? Oh, hold on. Like my disc hurt now. Hold on.
Yeah, my lower back.
Your lower back is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So all these things, and now like, what do? You can't ask the person that you watching the 15-second reel or snippet. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, hold on. Is this supposed to feel like this? We gonna put that in the comments?
Yeah.
And wait for them to answer? Or somebody to answer? So there's certain things that you just can't do where it's like, this is where having that trainer on hand, and to what you said, having my attention, whether it's 98% of the time, you know, that makes the huge difference from where your progression is going and how we would be tailoring it to you compared to you winging it pretty much. Because to me, that's winging it.
Yeah.
You know? So like that's another key point in reference to the value. So I do understand the counterpart of like the education, like, oh, well, I could just look it up. Isn't that educating me? There's a difference to it. And then also I'll touch on to what you said. When you go to the doctor and stuff, look at what they prescribe you, right? They don't actually tell you the name that's on the bottle.
No.
No.
Think about that. That's the easiest analogy I could think.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh yeah, this is, and then they create names for us common people. So that we understand, okay, this just cures, this is to help with you with asthma. This is to help you with, but in reality, when you look at that shit, it's a 17-letter word.
Hydroxychloroquine pinching.
You know what I'm saying? Some wild shit. It's a 17-letter word.
Yo,
so like there's a lot of times where it's like, yo, like they're doing that to make it easier for you. It's like our job is literally to relieve you of the stress.
Yeah. Yeah. To touch upon what you said as far as like one of the things that you mentioned was the person that was on TikTok, right?
Okay.
So now here's the value that, and it's funny that you mentioned that because this literally happened to me today. Like literally happened to me today. So I'm training this lady, can't say your name. Mm-hmm. So she's like, I'm feeling dizzy. What's going on? We doing glute bridges. Damn, if you look on the, well, anyway. So she's like, we doing glute bridges. I was gonna say, if you look at my stories, you'll see it. But
you said it.
We doing glute bridges, right? And she's like, I'm feeling dizzy. And I'm like, well, what do you mean you're feeling dizzy? She's like, oh, my head is spinning. I'm like, you need to breathe. She's like, what are you talking about? I saw this on TikTok, just like that. I said, well, like you said, there's some things TikTok don't show you. Let me show you something. So I said, and very simple. One of the techniques for breathing when it comes to working out, this is why it's so important. It's not just working out, like you said, we provide the educational value.
Yeah.
One educational value is one thing, it's just breathing. That's it. Learn how to breathe. Learn how to brace your core. So you'd be surprised. So many people don't know how to do that. And the simplest thing I tell people to do is like, when you're bringing something to you, inhale. When you're pushing it away from you, exhale. A lot of the times they do it backwards. They do it the back way. So I was like, okay, let's work on your breathing. So she started breathing. She's like, oh my God, you fixed it. You fixed it. Just breathing. But that TikTok video didn't show that one aspect of part of working out is knowing how to inhale and knowing how to exhale, bringing in new oxygen to your brain and in with the new, out with the old.
And I think also when, if you don't mind me intervening, because like, okay, if we being technical, right? Okay, give me any exercise.
Squat.
Okay. At what point do you inhale and exhale, right? That's a fair question now, right? Because there are times when you have people inhale on the squat down, and there are times you have people inhale coming up. Mm-hmm. Which one is wrong? You get what I'm saying? Like that's how you got to look at it. So yes, breathing is important, but knowing when.
Yeah, so this like I was saying, like bringing the weight to you is inhale. Pushing it away from you is exhale. It don't matter what movement it is.
Yeah.
That will always resonate. When you're bringing it to you, inhale. When you're going out, exhale. For example, squat. Inhale on the way down. Exhale on the way up.
Yeah.
Deadlift. Inhale on the way up. Exhale on the way down. Excuse me. Exhale on the way up. Inhale on the way down. So you want to explode. Breathe out when you pushing the weight away from you. Breathe in when you're bringing it to you. And it's something that's simple, but it's so much overlooked.
I'll add one more. I think, and we're saying it without saying it. Another value, I'll make this number 3, is like injury prevention, guys. Hello. Yeah. So to what we were just discussing, like we're the ones that we got to do all the scientific bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? We got to know all that bullshit, right? We got to know when, if someone tells me I'm dizzy, what exactly to do.
Was you dizzy when you squatted?
No.
Did you inhale and exhale?
Did you inhale and exhale? Did you inhale
on the way down and exhale on the way up?
I know how to squat.
Yo, that's funny as shit. Yo. But like injury prevention is that's a big one for real, you know? And I think Orlando definitely understood the value after.
Exactly.
I breathed correctly. Thank you very much.
Yo,
breathing don't have nothing to do with my groin separating from my body. Thank you very much. But all
jokes aside, though, no. Injury prevention is definitely serious, and then like that's what we're here for. You know, so like. We're us as trainers, like it's our job to understand things and like just the form, correction. And that this is why we do it, you know? So it may be a nuisance or annoying to you in the moment, but there's a reason for it because there's a lot of people and to anyone at any of your gyms, I'm pretty sure there's a community of people that tell you like, oh, I used to be, for me, like, and I'm projecting based on my experiences. So for me, right, I've had a lot of times where people will come to me and tell me, oh, I remember when I was your age. I don't give a fuck. Because at the end of the day, when you was my age, you had an injury. And that doesn't mean I can't have an injury. Right, but at the end of the day, you telling me to do something, but in the same breath, you telling me that you had an injury. Right, why would I listen to that when you hurt yourself?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Though? I don't get it. Is this like a personal shot at me or something?
Look, no, not at all. No, not at all. But I'm just.
You be shooting at people all day, and then now you see how I feel,
What
right?
is it? If the shoe fit, right?
Yeah, right.
It
Now
wasn't
you see how
even
I
told
feel.
you. That's. You feel what I'm saying?
I'm
though?
being
Like,
facetious.
real shit though. Like, you stupid. I look at it like, yo, that was a big thing for me in just personal experiences. And another thing that I think helped me was just once again something I said, but just not having the ego of worrying about like, well, this person told me when he was my age he was doing this. Like, yo, that's cool for you, bro.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, that's at your pace. But you did that. You did it. You did attempt it. I could attempt it too, but I could fail. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't mean I'm scared of failure.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I can gauge when it's like, okay, cool. Like there's sometimes I might be doing RDLs. A lot of times me and O do leg day. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing RDLs. I'm like, oh, I'm really starting to feel that pull. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, hold on, it's my limit right here. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta feel more comfortable, do more stretching when it comes to those things. But I'm not about to be like, oh yeah, it's supposed to feel like this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'd be an idiot, So leave that to us. Like we got you,
And to touch up on something that you said, I think for you too, you see this, and I see this. I think like with the online trainers, for me, the frustrating part is not so much because I look at like I train people online, but I give good direction. I know cues and different things to get them to a different position to make them understand. Now, when I see someone like an online trainer training or someone by themselves that needs training, and the form is off, I think more so for the online person that's training them. And a lot of times they not charging little to nothing. They're trying to make a buck, whatever the case may be. The frustrating part is I know how the exercise is supposed to go. So when I see it, I might even see him be like, yo, what's that?
Yeah.
And I'll try to even understand, knowing I know that this is wrong, but let me understand, maybe they might know something that I don't know. And then I'll observe, and I'm seeing how they going through the workout. And I'm like, well, why would you do this? Why would you do that? And there's really no wrong way to work out. But now when it comes down to form and technique, I'm like, nah, you're getting scammed. So now it's one of those things, it's like, I see even trainers that need trainers. So the person that's online training you needs a trainer.
Yeah.
Someone to teach that person because they teach you
how to do it. Yeah.
And if I see someone training someone and training someone right, I'm like, okay, that person is an online trainer training them good. But that's like few and far in between.
People care more about material than actual value or knowledge, I was going to say.
Okay.
People, they love to get the quick fix, the quick buck, the quick everything. So everything is the material, the surface shit. But at the end of the day, like the knowledge that you get from it, people could care less about. So when you value something that it gives you knowledge that you can pass down to other people, that you can give to other, you can add that to other genres of your life, like you were saying earlier. Like it's just more impactful.
Yeah.
But you have to go through that and see the value in it for yourself in order to use that. But now everything is materialistic. So you got to weed through the materialism to get to the knowledge.
Yeah.
If you like what we talking about, you can go to bedroombodyfitness.com. You could email me. You could DM me, whether you want to do some training with myself, Mr. Bedroom Body Fitness, the Aaron Elijah, or Orlando, as they call him. Send an email. I will make sure they'll get the message and I get the message. Also, for all you personal trainers out there, go to kevinbelgard.com and get your copy of Why the Fuck You're Not Prospecting. It's a personal trainer's guide to selling personal training. It's a must read. Okay, let's get back to the show.
Spoken by the melanated,
the majestic melanated mocha
the
face,
melanated,
sophisticated
Magneto,
Yeah.
melatonin.
Yo, I'm dead. All M's. So now, all right, check this, guys, right? So a lot of things, and I'm saying this based off what you said, right? So it kind of like, these are the benefits that you get that are like, I say, like, they're not they're intangible. Yeah. So like you get that, you gain that like sense of confidence. Mm-hmm. You gain that sense, like the security, you know what I'm saying? The independency. All of these things are like intangible benefits that you gain from going through training, because at the end of the day, like a lot of times the common person, if and you guys could object if you guys feel otherwise, but the common person that approaches us or that we end up like helping in a sense of training is someone that usually doesn't have structure, right? And that means anything from like waking up right? And it doesn't mean like you're the worst person ever. But I say that in a sense, when it comes to this, it is difficult for you, right? So the structure of maybe waking up, getting to the gym, that push that you need of that in between, there's a difference of knowing when you have a trainer, I got somebody that I got to show up for and hold myself accountable to.
Yeah.
Doing something outside your comfort zone.
Exactly, you know? And then when I get there, I got to apply myself. And, you know, this person is going to teach me, not in a sense where they're breaking down technical definitions, but they're going to let me know, like, this is how you do this, and this is what this is going to target.
Yeah.
You say you want a sexy back, this is how you get that sexy back. You know what I'm saying? You say you want quads that look like, this is how you get quads that look like this. And those things along the way, over a course of time, whatever time period that is for you, right? Those are things that you pick up, a sense of independency. Because now when you go on by yourself, you know exactly what you want to do. Now you kind of having fun with it. At least for me, like I would think like you have fun with it in a sense where it's like, all right, I have the excitement of structuring my own program. Like, okay, now I'm on my own shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have a sense of routine that you now fit working out, even without a trainer now, into your schedule, no matter what. Whatever time you got to wake up or however late you got to stay up after work. You know, so you find that in between time because now you value it. The whole thing of value, the value that comes with personal training and just working out for real. You know, so I think that's a big one. That's something that we can give you guys like selflessly.
And that value is when you think about it, it's unlimited because once you teach someone how to squat, you've taught them well forever. I saw you squat and real shit. You can squat. You squat good. So it's one of those things. Is like, well, I can teach you how to do this very fast. So now when I see them training with you, I'm like, okay, I know the quality that they getting.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And that investment is forever. You know, so now you can pass that on to someone else. Matter of fact, you know how to do it to the point where it's so good now. Now you could take my information that I gave you and charge somebody
a spin
and be like, you know what? Come with me to the gym. You want to learn how to squat? I'll show you. Give me $50 though.
Just to squat.
Just to squat.
Just to squat.
Yeah.
Take it a step further. Like, I know people that have kids that are in sports.
Yeah.
Don't know what to tell their kids. Like when it comes to sports. I know people that got the kids in basketball, football, soccer, so on and so forth. Instead of you teaching your child not how to play the sport, because not everybody knows how to play every sport, but the basics, how to breathe, you know, when you're running, how to lift when you do certain things, how to jump, how to, you know, properly, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can now, by learning what you learn from us or any personal trainer that is doing the right thing, you now know how to teach your kids how to do these things, and then they excel in sports. So it's not just surface level. It's passed down from generation to generation. Like it could be so much more than what it is. And then that's how you get the obesity level down, because
it's a fact.
You're not teaching your kids, go play 3 hours of football and then after we going to McDonald's.
Yeah. Like, even fun fact, guys, how many of you guys, okay, we're talking about squats, right? How many people out there know that your strength when it comes to that comes from your glutes?
Yeah.
Even that. Like, to us, that's like, duh. Like, not to be funny, but like, you know what I'm saying? How many of you guys really knew that? Especially like to the fellas.
Yeah.
Fellas don't work on their glutes for real.
At
You know,
all.
you step into a gym, you like, my glutes.
Legs for that matter.
You know?
Yeah.
Or legs in
Yeah,
general.
legs for that
What the fuck
matter.
I'm doing legs
I
for?
went to a whole gym, all pencils.
Yeah. You know? But real shit, how many people understand that? And how many times, like, in training sessions do we have to tell people, like, and I've heard it even in passing, right? Yo, keep your, not to be funny, but keep your cheeks on a mat, on a cushion or whatever the case. Push from your glutes.
Yeah.
You
Right,
know?
right.
Like, simple things like that to know, like, yo, this is where it comes from. Why you have an imbalance when you're trying to attempt to lunge.
Yeah.
Like,
that
you know,
part.
like, these are things where it's like, to those of you that struggle out there when you are in the gym, right? And you you do these exercises or attempt to do these exercises, don't quit so fast. Try to first of all, there's so many options out there. You can do the research yourself, but there's also nothing wrong with learning to understand the value in a trainer and knowing that we will provide that for you. We are your AI. We are your website. We are your YouTube. We are your social media platform. We are what you need to help push you to get to where you're trying to go to.
I like that.
Yeah.
I might change my name to K.I.
Yo.
K.A.I. Yo, that's some real shit, yo.
Yo.
K.A.I.
Yeah, I'm just
Kevin
saying
AI.
though, you know. He
like
on-
that, right?
He on
No.
some shit. He on some shit.
No.
He
No,
on
but
some-
you're right. We
Yeah,
are
real shit.
we the AI of this thing. You understand what I'm saying? Yo, we the AI.
Allen Iverson.
Yo, even that.
Because he's from Virginia.
But yeah, like that's how I see it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's truly how I see it. Like, yo, like we got you. So it's a lot of times where it's like, yo, like I understand, like even for us as trainers, like there's gonna be times where we even feel defeated. Like, yo, I can't fucking hit this number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God,
Everybody
yo,
goes through that shit.
Yeah.
Yo, that shit's so frustrating.
Yeah.
Like so frustrating, you know? And then it's like, nah, I'm gonna hit this fucking number. However I gotta do it, I'm gonna hit this number.
Yeah.
And sometimes that might, yo, all right. No, well, I'm not gonna say what it is, but fun fact, I go into the gym, right? I gotta hit chest today, right? I had chest today. Here go Kev telling me some shit. Yeah, I'm about to get all my carbs in. About to get all my carbs in. Look at this shit, right? I'm not gonna say what it is. That's his little hidden secret, right? But he was like, I was like,
Got
yo.
him.
I was like, yo, what you talking about? Like, put me on. What's up? Like, I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? Let me get. He was like, yeah, you do this. So now when I go home after this, I'm about to do my research. If it's all like, if it fits me, if it makes sense for me, I'm buying it on the
Damn
spot.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where it's like, but once technically, that was a form of education.
Yeah. Crack has carbs in it.
I don't know who told you that. I don't know
How
what
do you
kind of
know
carbs-
that?
It was a joke.
Education.
It was a joke. Yeah,
Yeah, let's tell yo.
I was born in the 80s.
Yo, crack baby.
Yo. Nah, but
Horrible.
So how does that? I guess that would be a different topic for a different time. But that's like knowing what fuels your body in order for you to move to the next phase or past the whatever plateau you in.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a big deal. That's knowledge and that's education.
Yeah.
Because now he gives you the knowledge of what he does.
Yeah.
You go back, you read up on it,
Yeah.
and now you're like, oh shit. Now you can give, if you choose to, get that knowledge to somebody else.
Yeah.
Like this is what I did, and it just passes on from person to person.
Yeah.
But that's how you help people grow too.
Correct,
And that's
yeah.
not even just a personal trainer thing. It's just
That's
a human
in
being
general.
thing.
Yeah. Once
You know?
again, taking these structures, right, and applying it to everything else.
Yeah.
It works all the same. The routine, having structure, programming, tailoring, however you want to word it. Just all the values that we're listing for you guys are things that you can honestly take and apply to anything else.
Yeah.
You know, but this is a place where you have help if it's needed. If you want, not even need, if you want it. You know, sometimes even if you don't, like there's times where we might just give advice. You didn't have to ask for it. We might just be like, yo, quick tip, like put your posture up like this and then do it.
Yeah.
You know, see how I feel this way. Matter of fact, hinge more, do this, you know, cabinet door, then try it. Oh my God, I never felt like this before. Oh shit, bro, damn, yo, that really helped me. I appreciate that. Those little things make the difference. So it's very interesting.
But don't get too gully though, because then you give them one.
Yeah, they keep
Yeah,
coming
I
for
know.
more.
Yeah.
They keep, oh
For
my
free.
God.
They want it for free.
Oh
now
my
they think
God.
it's free.
But see,
Yeah.
and then this goes into the part where it's like, yo, I'm frustrated because it's like, yo, y'all don't value us.
Like that one lady in
Yeah.
the gym, she told me, I
Yo.
said, do this. She's like, oh, that feels good. I told her again. So now I said, when you going to do your assessment? She's like, no, I prefer if you just keep telling me things in passing. Never spoke to her after that ever
you know how
again.
disrespectful that is?
That's very
I
disrespectful.
prefer.
I never spoke
Let's
to
slow
her
it down
again.
I prefer you to just keep telling me things in passing.
Think about
I
that.
prefer to keep passing you. Yo,
Yo,
get outta here.
I couldn't believe this shit. Yo,
I think as trainers though, we like you were saying about for instance, you do the nutrition.
Yeah.
So you know what like you said in doing the research, you know what works for you. It's like how much calories should I take in? How much calories should I not take in?
Yep.
So in essence, when it comes down to us, we, like you said, eliminate all that guesswork. So now we are and it's not that we are, but we are the test dummies. So we go through a lot of these tests that we do, whether it's on ourselves to know, to tell you, okay, this is how you're supposed to do it.
1000%.
This is what you're supposed to feel. So it eliminates a lot of the stuff for you. So imagine going to college and the professor just gave you all the answers. You just breeze through it.
And you ain't learn shit.
You didn't learn nothing. You understand what I'm saying? So that'll be unfair to you because now it's like, damn, like I really need to know what the hell to do. So we give you all the answers and then we show you how we got the answers.
Yeah.
So now you don't have to go through all that and it's time consuming. Like what's his name? What's the billionaire that used to own Mavericks? What's Mark Cuban?
Yeah.
So he was like, well, you know why I fly in private jets? People think it's because I want to. He said something like, I want to look fly and fancy. He's like, I don't want to look fly and fancy. I do it because I want to save time. So as personal trainers, we saving you so much time, energy, and money, you know, in the long run. Because if you 49%, down the line, you're gonna gotta go to the doctor. Those bills gonna be 50, 60 G's.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me you rather spend 50, 60 G's, and it don't matter what race you are, than to spend $1-2 grand now?
It's not even just that. You also gonna have to be on some type of medication for an extended period of time.
So hold on, let me give this stat, being that y'all saying that, right? So, okay. Over time, right? The healthcare costs due to physical inactivity.
Hold on, could we guess?
You could guess, yeah.
Is this in a year?
So this is just average, pretty much everything is based on average, and this is from dated up to 22, if I'm correct.
All right.
So the what? Like we gotta
So
give
once
you a
again,
price?
huh? Yeah, it would be a number. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 40,000.
What was the question?
So okay, so right, all right. So once again, right. So the healthcare costs due to physical inactivity. So keep in mind, this is per person. Like it's for averaging for one person. So it's not everybody
a lifetime
accumulated.
or a year?
Huh? This is over. Let's say a year. Let's give it a year's time.
I'm gonna say
Lifetime is way different because there's so many factors that play.
I'm gonna say 40,000.
You know what?
It's okay.
I think wait a minute. You gotta give your answer too.
Well,
What the
fuck? Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. All right.
Come on, Magenta.
I would say 60,000.
Okay, so you guys are given like the full estimate, right? So based on like inactive adults spend $1,437 more annually on healthcare. Annually. So now just add that up into the number that you said, right?
Yeah.
So how many times does 1,500 go into basically a number?
Yeah.
Is what you're looking at. But to think about that, guys, $1,500 spent on healthcare due to inactivity. But you don't want to spend, what the fuck was the price? $50 to $125 for a session.
And that's if you got insurance.
And that's it.
Ooh, you hit
If
the nail
you
on the
don't
head
have
there.
insurance, who the fuck knows?
Yeah, you just
gonna be ducking that bill.
You feel what I'm saying? So when you think about that, $1,500 compared to $125 at the highest, or $150 at the highest.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah, I mean when you break it down that.
When you see shit like that, to me, right now, and I'm in the gym, that scares me.
Yeah.
Yo, I gotta spend $1,500 if I just don't do shit.
That's 100% more, no? 200% more?
200% more if I just don't do anything.
Damn.
And what's fucked up is there's a lot of people that don't do anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy. Even if you want, just start with the online. It's cheaper. Do the $30 to $70 or $30 to $80 rate.
Something.
Do something. But everybody must have a level of activity. Like, please.
Yeah. There's so much stuff out there now to where you really don't have an excuse.
And there's different forms of exercise. So like don't critically judge us. You know what I'm saying? Don't look at us and say, oh, because you look like this, you're telling me to go lift the world. You know what I'm saying? No. That's not what we're saying at all. What we're saying, like, okay, just in case you don't know, like you got shit like Pilates, yoga, you know what I'm saying? Strength training, functional training, right?
A lot.
You could just be a person that's into a bunch of cardio. Cool. You know what I'm saying? Break it down even more. Kickboxing, boxing, jujitsu, fucking any mixed martial arts, Muay Thai. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's exercise.
There's so much that's exercise. Do something.
You could go ride a damn bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even in simpler form. Yeah.
Like simplest form. Go for a walk.
Like something.
10,000
But
steps.
for $1,500 of inactivity,
Yeah.
yo, I'm paying $1,500 to do nothing.
To do
It's
nothing.
crazy, dude.
That's my rent.
Yo, that's crazy.
To do nothing.
Nothing.
And get nothing from it.
And get
nothing
if
from it.
anything, no, what you are gaining are illnesses.
Illnesses.
Yeah.
Yep.
And wait.
Gaining weight because you eating, let's be realistic, you eating bullshit, right? And then now, like, it's hard for you to breathe. It's hard for you to to stand. Like the dumb, like the literally stuff that shouldn't be that crazy.
Yeah.
Walk, you know? Like, even think about like us on our phones all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoracic spine, like everything, like, you know what I'm saying? Your spine is
Fine.
fucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fucked, you know? So even that, like our posture and stuff like that. So like, guys, back exercise is essential. Any exercise is essential,
Yeah.
for real. Like
Yeah.
stretching, do stretch, please. Like,
Yeah. That stretching part is
you know,
pivotal
that's something
too.
else we touched on with the recovery and all that. Like, all of these things matter.
Yeah, and there's so much, like you said, like you're saying, there's so much that goes into it that I think it's often overlooked.
Yeah.
So like you're saying, people just get on TikTok and be like, oh, like you said, I see my favorite influencer do it, I'm gonna do it. No, there's much more that goes into it than just seeing it. There's like, it's think of it as a puzzle. Then what you know how to put the puzzle together, which we do. It's like, okay, just do this, and that. You're going to be fine. And then program over time so you can see the results.
Yeah.
Not, oh, every time I come here, I want to do something different. Do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do that. You'll see results, but you won't see the results as someone who's consistently programming themselves, doing the repetition over and over. Like meal planning. You like people who do the meal plans like you eating the same thing.
Yeah.
For the whole week, but making sure that
And
you're very
people
disciplined.
looking at you like you're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I eat the same thing.
But at
every
least
day.
you don't got to worry about certain health conditions, you know, due to the fact that, like, yo, I know what I'm intaking and I know to what level I'm intaking, and that's it.
And then with anybody, you could tell from their physique a lot of times is the discipline that they do have.
Yes.
Like, you know, like you got some people like that might train, but like they do like to eat. But the discipline, you can see it in their upper body. You can see it in their legs. Sometimes you can see it in the weight that they lift as well, too. Because everybody ain't going to be ripped up.
Yeah, because
You know what I'm
there are
saying?
times where people don't look as defined, but then you be surprised as to the weight that they
That's a
move.
fact.
That they can move. Yeah, that they can lift. Like,
So,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
you're not that as refined, but you can lift weight. But me, I'm refined and I can lift about the same shit, yo. This shit is real, yo. Yo. You gotta give me credit, my nigga.
Yeah. Oh,
You
shit.
gonna respond?
No. No. I'm not dignifying that ignorant ass
Hold on. So let
statement
me ask you a
with
question. You
response.
think you legendary?
Huh?
Do you think you legendary?
No.
You don't think you're a legend? You don't think when you leave, you was a legend in your time?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
It's like he wanted you to say yes, so he'd be like,
so you
no,
so you
no,
try,
no,
So you
no,
try to play me.
he's
No.
like, nah, you're not that.
Yeah, I'm not stupid.
Yo, all right, guys, we're gonna take this moment. It's called the Speak Up. Yo, hopefully Kev has something nice to say to O. Positive words of affirmation is what we're looking for.
Fuck him. There you go.
Yo, all right, guys. What is some just 30 seconds? What is some positive words of affirmation that you guys will have? Matter of fact, to each other. What's about
Nah, not to each other. I'm gonna leave it for this. This one is for the audience. Go ahead. Just something that we touched up on.
Yeah.
You know, like give it a chance. That's what I'm gonna say. And I just thought of that. Just give it a chance. And you say this a lot too. If it doesn't work, at least you could say I gave it a chance and it didn't work.
Yeah.
But at the very least, give it a chance. And don't let one bad experience deter you from trying something new. Like I told you earlier, just because you went to one restaurant and the food was bad, that doesn't necessarily mean you'll never go and eat nowhere else again.
Yeah.
You're like, you know what? Let me try this different restaurant. So if you did have a bad experience with a trainer before, at least give the next person a chance. Now, if it's another bad experience, then okay, well, it's just one of those things. It's not working out. But just give yourself a chance. Give yourself a chance to see the results that you want to see. Give yourself a chance to see the body that you want to see. Just give yourself a chance.
What you got?
We do a good job of knowing what we want and also knowing what we need. but as a society, as a people.
Yeah.
But we don't take the time to reflect on the things that, let's say, our ancestors or people before us did or endured. The reason why I say that is, it sounds kind of crazy, but the reason why I say that is us being 70% obese as a unit, as a nation, is new. Back in the 50s and the 60s, this was not a thing. People went out, they ate well, they danced,
Yeah.
they
They got their calorie.
the caloric intake was a lot less.
Yeah.
People, the food was cooked more wholesomely and at home. There wasn't that much going out to eat. So history repeats itself, and as time progresses, we only get fatter and we only become more obese. Now, also obese is what do you call it? It's like a taboo word.
Yeah.
It's taboo because body positivity.
How dare you
and all that.
How dare you call somebody? Yeah.
Body positivity and all of that. But I look at it this way. I'm pretty sure that if you had the opportunity to be healthy, you would do so.
Yo.
If somebody sat you down and said, pick being healthy or being unhealthy.
Yeah.
Live a long life full of health.
Yep.
Or live a short, fast life full of filth.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure people are going to choose the
Quick
healthy
death
side.
type. Yeah.
So, just be conscientious of what you're doing, because it's going to affect you in the long run. Forget the metabolic rate. You reach, because smokers reach to 60, 70.
Oh my God. I don't even want to know what their numbers look like.
They reach 60, 70 years old. But then when that cancer kicks in, they're kicking their ass at their old age.
Yeah.
So, think about not just the metabolic rate, but what you are now and what you're looking to leave in the future, because that determines the type of life that you're going to live.
Yeah.
And fuck Kevin.
I get this a lot. This is not new. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you something. When you majestic like me and all that, you got to learn how to deal with that stuff right here from this hate over here. You know what I mean?
So
Yeah, they use majestic in other ways.
Let me give a hey yo.
No Diddy.
At the time of this recording.
Yo. All right, I gotta speak up too. So and what we discussed, I think the biggest thing is like, or not obvious, but value, right? So when it comes to value, for me at least, and think about this, guys, for you to value something, you must judge. Think about it. Look up the definition of those two words, value and judge, right? So regardless of what we say, we live in a world where we say, oh, don't judge and don't do this and then shut the fuck up, right? Fuck all that shit. At the end of the day, we must judge, and that has a negative connotation as well. Where it's like a lot of times people look at it as just a negative. But what if I'm judging to deem what I want to be my pillars, my foundations, my structure, right? To what I tailor, right? To what educates me, right? So I look at it in a sense where it's like, once I do so, and once I judge, I understand what I don't want, right? And I understand where I want to go, right? Because 9 times out of 10, you're not already there. You're just attempting. You're on a road to get to where you want to be, So I think with the value, judging is a very, very important part. Once you do that, you understand what is truly not acceptable and what's not okay. Once again, at least for me, but to those out there that connect with this, like just understand, like follow me here. So when I say that in a sense where it's like, I'm not trying to exclude anybody, right? And I do understand the whole body appreciation, et cetera, so forth, whatever the case is. But once again, let's be realistic. Nobody wants to be unhealthy. No one wants to step into the doctor's office and hear no shit. You dying tomorrow.
Yeah.
Feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to step into the dentist's office and they tell you, yo, we gotta take out 10 of your teeth. Nobody wants to step into work and they tell you fired. No one wants to step into, you get real shit. Like, you would avoid it if it was up to you. So with all the statistics that we've given, with the ideas of values, if this is something that you understand, or maybe you're realizing now that you need to value, do that. Like, for real. Just do that. And I think that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest mark I want to leave with you guys, is just understand, judge. It is okay. But realize that what we have been doing to ourselves isn't necessarily okay. Not educating ourselves, right? Just continuing to be ignorant when we have so much information out there. Like, we just got to do better.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how I look at it.
Do better.
Yeah.
I am better.
Yeah.
Than you. And this has been another episode of Speaks and Sip.
Speaks and Sip.
We out.
Speak up or don't speak at all.
Hey.